Well, hello everybody from Norway. My name is Fr David Daigle. I'm a priest ordained by the Diocese of Bridgeport, Connecticut. I'm serving as a military chaplain, a Navy chaplain in particular. Specifically, I'm here with the Marine Corps. Navy chaplains serve with the Marines. My unit is Marine Aircraft Group 29. I'm the group chaplain. And we're here in Norway for Cold Response 22, and we're practicing our proficiency for cold weather warfighting. And I'm here as a Catholic priest to take care of, provide for all the Catholics, provide the sacraments, Roman Catholic Mass and confession and so forth, and also to care for those Marines. It doesn't matter what faith group they are, take care of everybody and their needs. So it's great to be here. My first time in Norway. My dad was in the Air Force, and we used to, we would go to Mass every Sunday, and I used to serve at altar, as an altar boy, and I was always very deeply rooted in the Catholic faith. Never thought I would be a priest. I was thinking policeman or fireman, and as I got older, I went to a Catholic high school, and it was probably my junior or senior year that it just kind of came out of the blue that I should be a priest. I actually wanted to enter the military, the Marine Corps specifically, but I felt the calling to the priesthood superseded work in the military. So my thought was, if I ever got ordained to the priesthood, I want to be a chaplain in the military. So I've been very blessed to have the vocation to the priesthood, but also to be released by my bishop to the Archdiocese for Military to serve as a Navy chaplain. I feel blessed because it's not easy for everybody. A lot of priests, this is not their lifestyle, and I understand that. But for me, I enjoy it. I have a lot of fun being with the Marines or sailors and going on ships or going on the field, going on deployments. And it energizes me. So I think it fits me. And so that's kind of my background on being a priest and becoming a Navy chaplain. My bishop released me, it was about 15, 16 years ago. So I've been a Navy chaplain for 15 years now. So my first assignment was the USS Iwo Jima, which is it's a Marine Corps ship. They go on what's called Marine Expeditionary Units and amphibious strike groups, response groups. And so that was in 2007 to 2009. I was a ship chaplain. Marines came on board. We deployed to the Middle East for a 7-month deployment. I got back from that. My second assignment was it was called a global support assignment. I went to Kuwait as the chaplain for the Expeditionary Medical Facility, Kuwait. That was about 80 doctors and nurses and medical specialists, and we went to Camp Arifjan to support the Army. After that, I was assigned to USS Theodore Roosevelt. It was a carrier, and so I was on board for a year, and then I was sent to the George Herbert Walker Bush for its combat mating deployment, went to the Middle East. After that, I was sent on another carrier, USS Harry S. Truman. We did a 9-month deployment to the Middle East. After that, I finally went to the Marine Corps. I'd been asking for a few years from what's called our detailer, who gives us the assignments, military assignments. And so I was with 7th Engineer Support Battalion and 1st Maintenance Marines at Camp Pendleton in California. From there, my next assignment was with Navy Recruiting Command. I was 3 years. It's called an independent duty assignment. My job was to help recruit Roman Catholic priests to the chaplain corps, in addition to my job just as what we called a chaplain program officer. So I would work from Boston, New York, Philadelphia, down to Richmond, and help all of the recruiters get into seminaries and recruit priests and help with the basic job. And so that was for 3 years. And then I never thought I'd go back to the Marine Corps. I thought they'd send me back to a ship, but the detailer called me and said, "What do you think about going to Marine Aircraft Group 29 in New River?" And I said, "Of course." My uniform still fits from 15 years ago, but it's not as loose as it used to be, but I still can wear it. And that's how I am here with you today, up in Norway. I feel very blessed. All of my assignments, some of them have been challenging, but each one of them has been unique and rewarding. And the people that you meet and minister to, it's been a real blessing for the last 15 years. Within the chaplain corps, we have core competencies, and the core competency that I am practicing most of the time is provision, which is providing for Roman Catholics religiously, but the other component is called care. And so as a chaplain and as a priest, I care for all people, no matter their faith group. A lot of times we have people who they may just feel a lot of stress. They can come in to see the chaplain and talk to the chaplain without any fear of it getting back to their command or somebody else, because it's like the sacrament of confession. If somebody comes in and talks to the chaplain, it's complete confidentiality. So they may be under stress because of the demands of deployment. They may be going through marital troubles because of the stress of military life. They may feel like they don't have anybody to talk to, that they're starting to get depressed and potentially suicidal. A lot of people come to talk to the chaplain and to me specifically to kind of unburden themselves. And if I can help them within that confidential relationship and it de-stresses them, then I've done my job and pray for them. If they want additional help, I can refer them, but I cannot force them. But a lot of times when they come to talk to the chaplain, they will, if I refer them to a mental health specialist or some other caregiver, because it's beyond my level of ability to care for them, because of that relationship I've developed with them, a lot of times they will then take the next step. Whereas if they don't come to talk to the chaplain first, they may be unable to make that bridge over to somebody who can really help them. Just one quick example that comes to mind. I think one of the things we do as chaplains, we go around. We're free to go anywhere in the workspace around. We're expected to by the command. We go anywhere, talk to anybody. We should not be seen and are not seen as a threat, but hopefully we're understood to be somebody there to help. So most of the time, people want to see us. We enter the spaces, and maybe for another officer, it's like, why are you here? But whenever you go in, they're like, okay, it's a chaplain, and happy that they're there. So I did this at one of the squadrons. I was just walking around. You make connections, you get to know people, and so I went into one of the offices one day and was talking to a couple of the junior Marines, and then the other Marine that I knew, he was a corporal. He popped his head in, but saw me, then stopped. And then I looked at him and I said hello, and he kind of gave me a look that concerned me. So I told the other two Marines to just, I'm going to go talk to him. And I said, let's go talk. And so we went into a private room, and I just started talking to him about what is going on with him. I could tell it looked like he might have been crying. His eyes were red. And so again, I have confidentiality. I can't share anything unless given permission. But he told me he had been in the restroom and was crying, and his plan was to commit suicide as soon as work was over, and to hang himself. And so this puts me in a difficult situation because I can't break confidentiality. But after I listened to him for a while, and I said, hey, do you mind if I get some help? And he said, sure. And so the way I dealt with it, I got the sergeant major who came in, and I just said, why don't you tell the sergeant major what you told me? And so he did. And so therefore, I did not break confidentiality. I was able to get him the help that he needed, and he got mental health treatment. And so he's still alive now because of that. If I were a parish priest in Connecticut, my home diocese, I would never have gone to California, had the chance to live there, never had a chance to be in Virginia Beach for 7 years. And in this particular case, never had a chance to come up to Norway. My first time in Norway, I'm here because I'm a Navy chaplain on this exercise, and actually stationed up in Bardufoss, so I see Bardufoss and Buda. But in particular, with regard to Buda, it's a beautiful little town. I'd like to see it in the summer rather than the winter. That being said, with regard to the Catholic Church here, I think it's pretty darn neat. The Chief Warrant Officer, Fr David, when we were talking about coming out here, he looked up the local parish and contacted Father Arne Kursebom, and that's how we got involved. And then we were able to translate that connection with the parish into official business with the Marine Corps to promote community relations, goodwill between the Marine Corps and the Catholic community, or the community of Buda, but the Catholic community in particular. Hear how the church was built through the donations of the Germans, and then to see Father Kirschbaum up here, knowing his background and how he's serving up in the northernmost parish, I think maybe in the world, but certainly in Europe. And so it's pretty neat to see. It's a beautiful little church, and it's neat to see. Couldn't understand the Norwegian language, obviously, but when we were at Mass, was able to follow along, knew what the prayers were, and to translate mentally. I knew exactly where we were in Mass all the time, and to be able to relate that to English. I would just ask for prayers for peace in the world, but also, in particular, since you're talking to Navy chaplain, for vocations to the priesthood and more Navy chaplains, for those priests who are young enough and fit enough to consider serving in the military for at least 3 years to 5 years, and taking care of our Catholic men and women spiritually, sacramentally, but also taking care of all members of the military, no matter what their faith group, as they seek to work towards a common good. Our Catholic chaplains are needed because we have a lot of units that have a lot of Catholic members, but we don't have enough priests to offer them one. So just to pray for more vocations to the priesthood and military chaplaincy.